Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to Counselor's Couch 101. I'm Jim Stump, and we're examining relationship issues. All sorts of things come up when we try to get men to understand women and women to understand men and to communicate and make things work and have happy relationships and like that. One of the things that I'm constantly presented with is that men and women choose partners differently, right? Women tell me that they accuse men of reacting immediately upon seeing a female. They have a physical, visceral reaction to someone, right? If they're attracted to that body and that figure and that smile and that hairdo and etc., it's a physical reaction, and they want to go and act on that reaction. They want to meet that person. They want to make a connection. They want to see if there's a possibility for a relationship, whether it be casual or long term, but they move in and make an acquaintance quickly. Women, they tell me, they have a different approach to things. Most women I've talked to who are looking for a partner will read me a list of requirements, right? A list of attributes in the man that they want. This is the guy they want. And they'll read the thing off. Of course, he's got to be tall, dark, and handsome. And he has to have a good, solid job with a good income. He has to be educated. He has to be intelligent. He has to be friendly. He has to be honest, right? Women tell me that's the number one item. He has to be honest. You have to be able to trust him. Well, that one I can go along with. But the rest of it, I don't think it carries any weight whatsoever. To me, I look at that and I say, how often does someone match a person up to that list they had in their mind before they met, and that relationship works? Most often, those relationships don't work unless the woman in the case is willing to put up with all the things that don't work in order to keep the list of attributes that do work. And oftentimes, women have a certain income level that they want to achieve in a partner, and they're not willing to settle for anything less. And they'll put up with bad behavior and emotional, I don't want to say abuse, but abandonment, emotional distancing. They'll put up with that in order to keep the thing that they wanted to achieve, which was a higher standard of life, a better way of living. And if that's the deal you made and it works for you, that's fine. I doubt that either one of you are happy in that situation, but some people make it work. By the way, this is a digression, but I've heard of all sorts of accommodations in relationships, particularly marriages. Oftentimes, someone isn't satisfied with some aspect of the marriage, right? And so they look for that thing that's missing outside of the marriage. Yes, quite often it's a physical thing. They're just no longer attracted to their wife because they've been together too long. Everything is predictable, it's pretty standard, it's pretty usual, it's really not exciting. So they're looking for some excitement outside the relationship. And I've known many wives to accept that. Sometimes they say, you can do whatever you want, but don't bring it home, and don't date any of my friends. Don't date anybody in the neighborhood or even the city. So if you go out of the area and like that, do what you need to do, but don't tell me about it. And they're willing to accept that in order to keep their relationship together. And often they want to keep their family together, and that's a worthwhile objective right there. If they have kids and a position in the community, and by that I mean friends and neighbors and relationships at organizations, maybe a church or certainly schools and PTAs and soccer clubs for the kids and all that, or tennis or anything else the kids are doing. The wife usually wants to keep all that stuff in place and going, and that is a worthwhile objective. It truly is. And if she's willing to put up with a dalliance here or there outside of the local community, and that makes it work for her, okay, who can say that she's wrong? Oftentimes people break up over those kinds of things. They break up over affairs when they could have done something to alleviate it. I say, by that I mean sit down and talk about why the affair. Usually, the affair is not the problem, it's a symptom of a problem. That's the way I see it. Something is not working in the relationship. Any person, a male or even a female, go out and find it. Maybe they're not even looking for it, but they stumble on it just by being with other people in life, right? It'd be great if we all married Prince Charming and Princess Charming and like that and stayed happily ever after. That'd be wonderful. I'm a helpless, incurable romantic. I would love to see that for everybody. But often it doesn't seem to be the case. We have to make accommodations in order to keep the relationship and the family together. And often it's really quite worth it, depending on the extent we have to go, right? In the accommodations. So, what are you willing to accommodate? I knew one gentleman, he said he loved his wife dearly. In fact, I've heard many husbands tell you this to me. I love my wife dearly, but there's just no excitement there. I love my kids, I love my family, I love my life, but I have to have some excitement. And so whenever they're outside of the community, they will find something to keep them going in that sense. I hope the women they take up with are aware of the fact that it's not going to be a long-term relationship, and I hope they're not hurting those ladies out there who are accommodating these situations. But that's something they need to deal with and something they need to live with as far as how they feel in their conscience and so forth. But if that works for someone and it keeps the family together, I know a man in his 70s who said he'd been having affairs since the beginning of his marriage. He was married early in his 20s. And he said it was just the way it was. He said, it just doesn't work. As long as I have that to satisfy my needs, everything else is working fine. My wife is happy. My kids are happy. My grandkids are happy. And it's all working. And he makes sure to not ever embarrass his wife. He never brings anything anywhere close to home. He doesn't bring home any STDs or women chasing him, wanting attention or wanting him to divorce his wife, and etc. He doesn't do anything of that nature to the family. And that seemed to work for him. And there's nothing I could do with that except say, at this case, you've been married over 50 years. It doesn't look like the pattern's going to stop, right? And apparently, I asked him if his wife knew about it, and he said she must know, but she's never said a word. She's never asked. It's never come up. In 50 years of marriage, it never came up. So that's the way they accommodated it. Is that a good thing? I don't know. It seemed to work for them, apparently. What are any of you putting up with in your relationship that's not working? I hope you don't have to go outside the relationship for things like physical gratification, but maybe there are other things. Maybe just conversation about things you like. Maybe activities that you like to do that your partner doesn't like to do. What do you need to fill out your relationship? Excuse me. I know one gentleman told me, I get my relationship in pieces. When I want intellectual conversation, I go to this female friend. When I want to go out to dinner and maybe dancing, I go with another friend. If I want to open my heart and express who I am and what I'm going through, it's another friend. And if I want physical activity like biking or jogging or something like that, he finds his relationship in pieces. And a lot of single people do that, right? They haven't found that perfect mate, and so they make their life work as well as they can do with what they have and what people they know and relationships are in their lives. So I'm wondering, those of you who have successful relationships, marriages particularly, tell me what makes it work. It's often been said, and I believe it fully, is that you should marry your best friend, the one you want to share things with, the one you want to come home to and tell about your day and hear about her or his day. That's the person you should marry, the one you want to be with, your best friend. I think that works, but it's a brave new world, isn't it? I'd like to hear from you. Send me write a comment down below or send me an email at counselorscouch@mail.com. Tell me if you have a successful relationship, how it is successful, how you made it successful. By the way, that's another one. One lady told me, she said the secret to a successful relationship, she said, is find someone you love and then fix all the rest. That's not a bad philosophy. Find someone you love and fix all the rest, right? Not a bad way to go. And here's a final thought as far as I'm concerned regarding that list of attributes and requirements and all that. I don't think it ever works. I think people end up, if they find a true mate, someone who's really good for them, they end up with someone who's probably not meeting the attributes on that list. I think the way to find it is to look in someone's eyes. I mean this sincerely. Look in someone's eyes. Someone once said, the eyes are the mirror of the soul. And I truly believe that. When I look in the eyes of the woman I love, I can just see her as my mate. She's there. There's a lock, there's a communication that has nothing to do with words. It has to do with the smile and the gleam and really an appreciation that you're in my life and you're here and we're together. A person that you can't get close enough to. Forehead to forehead, looking in someone's eyes and seeing a reflection there that wants you and wants to be with you, maybe for eternity. That would be beautiful, wouldn't it? Look into her eyes. Look into his eyes. If you don't see yourself there, keep on looking. Thanks for coming. I look forward to talking with you next time.